Harry the Dirty Dog. Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything. Except getting a bath. So one day, when he heard the water running in the tub, he took the scrubbing brush and buried it in the backyard. Then he ran away from home. He played where they were fixing the street. And got very dirty. He played at the railroad. And got even dirtier. He played tag with other dogs. And became dirtier still. He slid down a coal chute and got the dirtiest of all. In fact, he changed from a white dog with black spots to a black dog with white spots. Although there were many other things to do, Harry began to wonder if his family thought that he had really run away. He felt tired and hungry, too. So, without stopping on the way, he ran back home. When Harry got to his house, he crawled through the fence and sat looking at the back door. One of the family looked out and said, "There's a strange dog in the backyard. By the way, has anyone seen Harry?" When Harry heard this, he tried very hard to show them he was Harry. He started to do all his old clever tricks. He flip-flopped. And he flop-flipped. He rolled over and played dead. He danced. And he sang. He did these tricks over and over again, but everyone shook his head and said, "Oh no, it couldn't be Harry." Harry gave up and walked slowly toward the gate. But suddenly, he stopped. He ran to a corner of the garden and started to dig furiously. Soon, he jumped away from the hole, barking short, happy barks. He'd found the scrubbing brush. And carrying it in his mouth, he ran into the house. Up the stairs he dashed, with the family following close behind. He jumped into the bathtub and sat up begging, with the scrubbing brush in his mouth. A trick he certainly had never done before. "This little doggy wants a bath," cried the little girl. And her father said, "Why don't you and your brother give him one?" Harry's bath was the soapiest one he'd ever had. It worked like magic. As soon as the children started to scrub, they began shouting, "Mommy! Daddy! Look! Look! Come quick! It's Harry! It's Harry! It's Harry!" they cried. Harry wagged his tail and was very, very happy. His family combed and brushed him lovingly, and he became, once again, a white dog with black spots. It was wonderful to be home. After dinner, Harry fell asleep in his favorite place, happily dreaming of how much fun it had been getting dirty. He slept so soundly, he didn't even feel the scrubbing brush he'd hidden under his pillow.
Officer Buckle and Gloria. Officer Buckle knew more safety tips than anyone else in Knappville. Safety tip number 77, never stand on a swivel chair. Every time he thought of a new one, he thumbtacked it to his bulletin board. Safety tip number 76, never dry your socks in the microwave. Officer Buckle shared his safety tips with the students at Knappville School. Nobody ever listened. Safety tip number 7. Sometimes there was snoring. Always swim with a buddy. Safety tip number 80. Always walk facing traffic. Afterward, it was business as usual. Play with spray paint. Mrs. Topple, the principal, took down the welcome banner. "Never stand on a swivel chair," said Officer Buckle, but Mrs. Topple didn't hear him. Safety tip number 7, always wear a crash helmet when biking or skating. Then one day, Knappville's police department bought a police dog named Gloria. Gloria, sit. Good girl. Gloria, down. Good girl. Gloria, speak. Good dog. When it was time for Officer Buckle to give the safety speech at the school, Gloria went along. Wish me luck. Children, this is Gloria, announced Officer Buckle. Gloria obeys my commands. Gloria, sit. And Gloria sat. Safety tip number 1. Keep your shoelaces tied. The children sat up and stared. Officer Buckle checked to see if Gloria was sitting at attention. She was. Safety tip number 2. Always wipe up spills before someone slips and falls. The children's eyes popped. Officer Buckle checked on Gloria again. Good dog. Officer Buckle thought of a safety tip he had discovered that morning. Never leave a thumbtack where you might sit on it. The audience roared. Officer Buckle grinned. Stay away from guns, he said the rest of the tips with plenty of expression. Matches. Officer Buckle was surprised. Say no to drugs. He had never noticed how funny safety tips could be. Where someone might step on it. After this safety speech, away from cigarettes, there wasn't a single accident. The next day, an enormous envelope arrived at the police station. It was stuffed with thank you letters from the students at Knappville School. Every letter had a drawing of Gloria on it. Officer Buckle thought the drawings showed a lot of imagination. His favorite letter was written on a star-shaped piece of paper. It said, "You and Gloria make a good team. Your friend Claire. P.S. I always wear a crash helmet. Safety tip number 7. Officer Buckle was thumbtacking Claire's letter to his bulletin board when the phone started ringing. Officer Buckle speaking.
Officer Buckle, I'm calling about your safety speech.
Can I put you on hold? Officer Buckle speaking.
Our students want to hear your safety tips.
Why, sure. Hello, Officer Buckle. No, this is Officer Buckle.
Officer Buckle, we'd like to invite you to our school, and please bring along that police dog.
Yes, okay. Can I maybe call you back? Officer Buckle told his safety tips to 313 schools. Everywhere he and Gloria went, children sat up and listened. After every speech, Officer Buckle took Gloria out for ice cream. Officer Buckle loved having a buddy. Then one day, a television news team videotaped Officer Buckle in the State College auditorium. When he finished safety tip number 99, "Do not go swimming during electrical storms," the students jumped to their feet and applauded. Officer Buckle bowed again and again.
Across Canada
Hey, millions of restaurants serve desserts and
People should watch that.
Yeah.
Buckle up for a musical with a final score of 83-72. Have you ever tripped over an untied shoelace or slipped on a banana peel? If you have,
That night, Officer Buckle watched himself on the 10 o'clock news.
Sarah Stone.
Thanks, Brad. Children in Knappville County are a lot more safety conscious these days, and it's all because of a remarkable safety tip speech by Officer Buckle of the Knappville Police Department. Accompanied by his faithful police dog, Gloria, Officer Buckle has been appearing at schools and daycare centers all over Knappville, delivering a safety message that, well, you've got to see it to believe it, as they say. So let's take a look.
Do not go swimming during electrical storms.
Gloria is clearly the star of this dynamic duo. From the State College Gymnasium, this is Sarah Stone for KNAPP News.
Wow, that is one hot-wired hound dog. Well, it looks like we can expect a pretty gloomy day tomorrow. We'll be back with a full weather report.
Safety tip number 100. Never turn your back on a strange dog. The next day, the principal of Knappville School telephoned the police station. "Good morning, Officer Buckle. It's time for our safety speech." Officer Buckle frowned. "I'm not giving any more speeches. Nobody looks at me anyway." "Oh, well, how about Gloria? Could she come?" Someone else from the police station gave Gloria a ride to the school. Gloria sat on stage, looking lonely. Then she fell asleep. So did the audience. After Gloria left, Knappville School had its biggest accident ever. It started with a puddle of banana pudding. Everyone slid smack into Mrs. Topple, who screamed and let go of her hammer. The next morning, a pile of letters arrived at the police station. Every letter had a drawing of the accident. Officer Buckle was shocked. At the bottom of the pile was a note written on a paper star. Officer Buckle smiled. The note said,
Gloria missed you yesterday. Your friend Claire. P.S. Don't worry, I was wearing my helmet. Safety tip number 7.
Gloria gave Officer Buckle a big kiss on the nose. Officer Buckle gave Gloria a nice pat on the back. Then Officer Buckle thought of his best safety tip yet. Safety tip number 101. Always stick with your body. Safety tip number 12. Say no to drugs. Safety tip number 4. Never play with matches. Safety tip number 15. Obey all traffic signs. Safety tip number 28. Never put anything in your nose. Safety tip number 22. Never play loud music into headphones. Safety tip number 40. Never fly kites near power lines. Safety tip number 27. Stay away from cigarettes. Safety tip number 6. Stay away from guns. Safety tip number 26. Never leave a bar of soap where someone might step on it. Safety tip number 39.
What's over here? What's over there? I've got to find it. What's on the top? What's down below? What's that behind it? You know, it seems my virtuosity is always finding out this and that. And it's my natural curiosity that works for me, so you can see that that's where I'm at. I wonder, what does it do? Where does it go? How do I get there? Can't seem to place this curious taste so rare. There'll be a day when I'm old and gray, 'twill all make sense to me. But for now it's only certain to me, all that I see gets my curiosity. Sense to me, but for now it's only certain to me, all that I see gets my curiosity. My curiosity, it's certain to me. My curiosity.
Although all Scottish Terrier puppies are curious, it seemed at times that Angus was the most curious of all. Angus loved exploring the world around him and was curious about many different places and many kinds of things. But he was especially curious about the two friendly people who came to see him one day and where they were taking him. Angus went with the man and woman on a long, bumpy ride in a big, noisy thing that made all sorts of curious sounds. He soon discovered that the place he had been brought to was his new home, and the two friendly people were his new family. Angus had a feeling that he was going to like it here. As Angus grew, so did his curiosity. One day, the woman gave him a pretty red thing she called a collar. Angus didn't know what the collar was for. He just knew it made him feel special. He noticed that the little dog in the mirror had a red collar, just like his. Angus loved his new home. It was filled with many different things. There were things that followed him even when he was finished playing. There were things that came apart when he shook his head. And there were things that jumped down at him for no reason at all. Angus was also curious about things outdoors, but he could never find out much about them because of a leash. The leash was fastened at one end to the collar around his neck, and at the other end to somebody else. Most of the time, the leash didn't bother him. It was usually going the same place as he was. However, it did seem that whenever Angus found something really interesting, the leash would keep him from getting near it. Each morning, Angus walked past a tall green hedge. He was curious about the strange noises coming from the other side. Of all the places the man took Angus on their walks, his favorite was the park. Angus loved the park. It was a very busy place, and he never knew who he would run into there. Sometimes he would see another dog on a leash. Angus wondered if the big dog knew what was making the curious sounds on the other side of the tall green hedge. If only he could get rid of this bothersome leash. Outdoors wasn't the only place where Angus heard strange noises. Sometimes in the evenings, he could hear unusual sounds coming out of a large wooden box.
The Jack Benny Program.
Oh, Jack.
What?
That baby is so cute.
Yeah. Listen to that. Don't cry, don't cry. Now, here's a little game that all babies like. Now, pay attention, baby. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. And this little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 wee.
Jack, we've got a long walk yet. Let's get going.
Okay. Wait till I put my shoe on.
Often, late at night, Angus would wake up thinking he had heard the sound that came from behind the tall green hedge. But he was never really sure if it was just something he was dreaming about or if the sound had been real. One day, the door between outdoors and indoors was left open by mistake. And so, without a second thought or a leash, out the front door Angus went. He ran as fast as his short legs would carry him to the tall green hedge. There he found a gate he had never noticed before. Angus tried going through it, but it was shut tight. He tried to jump over the hedge, but it was much too tall. Perhaps if he tried pushing the gate just a bit harder. There, directly in front of him, were two of the oddest-looking creatures Angus had ever seen. He thought they might be fun to play with, so Angus ran to meet them. But when one of the ducks flapped its wings, he wasn't so sure. The ducks seemed to be almost as curious as Angus. Finding the dog rude, the two ducks waddled away. Angus followed after them. The ducks stopped by a watering trough under a big shady tree. Angus watched as each duck took a long drink of cool, clear water. By now, Angus was quite thirsty himself. Away the ducks scuttled behind the thick trunk of the shady tree. All alone, Angus lapped the cool water. But Angus was not alone. The ducks were quite unhappy about their uninvited guest. They talked it over and decided to teach him a lesson for drinking from their watering trough. Suddenly, the only thing Angus was curious about was whether he could get back to the gate before the ducks got to him. So off he ran. Angus scrambled out the gate and headed for home, leaving the two angry ducks far behind. He scurried down the sidewalk, running just as fast as he could, dashed up the brick path, scampered into the house, crawled under the sofa, and for exactly 3 minutes by the clock, Angus was not curious about anything at all.
What's over here? What's over there?